Right, as far as I can see, we have three nuts in here, which I've pre-loosened, they're fairly tight. So I'll just undo them. You don't want to see me undo all of those. So those three. There's one up here, hiding in the case opening up here. And then the rest of them are around the outside. So again, I'll bring you back when I've undone them, because there is nothing particularly exciting or different about them that I can see. Just need to undo them. So I'll just undo them all and bring you back. Right, all the case nuts and bolts are off. I can't think of anything else that's holding it on. I'm pretty certain the cam will come out with this case. And the manual suggests removing the right hand side of the engine. So I'm going to try tapping around here first and see if I can get any movement. So let me just get my soft hammer. One day I'll remember to get everything together before I start actually switching everything on. But not today. Right, so not a lot of anything. No. Right, let me just check I've not left anything attached and I'll come back. Right, I've continued tapping. And we have a gap appearing now at the back here and in the middle. But the front is proving reluctant. So I'm assuming there's a dowel of some sort in there. So I may have to resort to warming this up, I think. But I'll just give another few taps while you're here. If not, I'm going to turn you off again and I'm going to try and warm around here, try and encourage whatever is around here to let go of its grip. So we shall have a look. Trying to be gentle, obviously. See, there is a tiny gap started, but it ends here. So I will turn you off. I'm going to use the hot air gun to warm around here, because there must be something here holding it together. And it's reluctant to part company at the minute. The back's definitely moving. Right, I've used the hot air gun, warmed up round here. I closed the back up again, just in case there's an element of scissoring or cocking going on. And then once I closed them back up, I then restarted tapping them out again with this side warm, only one side warm. And it has started to move. So, fingers crossed, it will now come apart. You can see, hopefully, we now have a gap, which is good. Probably sounds very loud on camera as well, as if I'm battering hell out of it, which I'm not. I am in fact tapping it reasonably gently, trying to keep it all square. It's just the way the microphone is, it does seem to pick up and magnify sound, certain sounds. So I'm not actually hitting it that hard, I'm just regular beats. hammer's getting a bit knackered as well, look at that. Buy a new one. That's snap-on for you, cheap rubbish. Really close now. In fact, so close. I think that's it. Try and keep them on there for a second. I'm sure this isn't the way it's meant to come off, but yeah. Let's get rid of that finally. Bane of my life. Right. Let's just turn this round. Oh, okay. I was going to say I'll turn around and tap the crank out. But there really isn't any need because it just pulled clean out anyway. So, that's the case you split. I'm going to turn you off again while I move this all round because it's obviously messy and dirty now at the minute, so I'll split things up and show them individually and then we'll move on from there. Right, onto the crank. We have a thin washer and a thicker washer, and then on this side a spacer shim, and then our two rods, which I don't need to punch up because they're marked. Yep, numbered on cap and rod. Let's see if we can this one. Oh yeah, there we go again. Same on this side. So that's good. So the 2-digit, for this is my own sake really, the 2-digit number is on the bush side and the 3-digit number is on the roller side. So we need to get the rods off. So we will need a ratchet, quite possibly a strong arm, and a rack of sockets, which have disappeared for the moment. Let me find them. So, what size are these? Not that size. Not that size. So, back again. Oh, it's not that one either. That's strange. What's going on here? It's the closest. Let me just try and whip nothing yet. That's perfect. That's strange, isn't it? So the Whitworth fits better than the AF. Oh, very peculiar. Right, okay. So this is what we shall use. So we'll just crack off. Ooh. awkward to get hold of and very tight. There we go. Just get a good angle on it. That's going to need an extension. To get the swing. Right. Oh my word, that's tight. There we go. Just very awkward to get at. Right. Now, as usual, these are a bit tight. So, they're going to need a little help. Can't get to the bottom one for the minute. Okay. I just need a little punch just in the middle of the bolt to try and encourage it to separate. Just to get them moving, very gentle. Still doesn't want to come out. Let's give it a little more on this one. No. Right. Let's Can you still see everything in focus? I'll just reposition it to get a better view of the journal. Right, that's slightly better. The journal is super clean. As are the shells. There's very, very minor marking in them. Absolutely nothing there to catch your fingernail on, that's for sure. Let's look at the upper half. Again, very, very light marks. No, that's all really good. So I'll just put these back together because I'll keep them number to number. We know which is which. I'll take the other one off. And I'll show you that one when it's off. Right, another one came off. Much easier. So there's clearly a pattern developing here that whatever I choose to film will be awkward, because the second rod came apart without any drama at all, not very little tapping required. The journal is again in excellent condition. The shells, this one has slightly more marking, but not a great deal. It's obviously picked up a bit of grit on this side. So I don't know if you can see that coming from the oil hole. You could just about catch a nail on it, just about. So it's going to need a set of shells, but they're going to be standard shells because I will measure the crank pins, but really they are just in such excellent looking condition that there's no scoring on them at all. So the chance of them being damaged at this point, I think, are fairly slim. So those old shells should push out. I'll look at them in a minute when I've done other things here. So the two final issues with the crank, really, that need to be addressed, because all the other surfaces look absolutely bang on, unmarked in fact. So the other two issues are whether this is worn, which will require measuring. Again, there is no heavy marking on that at all. That's where your troublesome BSA plain bearing sits. So that will have to be checked for whether it's round or not, which I'll do shortly. And then the other final issue, which is potentially more aggravating, is the sludge trap. Now I know from bitter experience that these are really, really horrible to get out. On the Bonneville I ended up having to MIG weld a nut onto that and then use an impact gun to get it out. It was a very unpleasant experience. Now, there are two possible lines of thought here. Thought number one is everything so far in the engine has clearly been low mileage and not worn. So it is unlikely that the sludge trap is going to be filled with muck. The counterpoint to that argument is, having come this far, would it be foolish not to take the trap out? And to be honest, at the minute, I think it's going to be the latter. So let me measure a few things up, and you can come back and we'll have a look at the sludge trap. Just before we leave the rods, though, just struck me, I haven't mentioned, I was told that the eyes can wear oval. Now, given that the journals are perfect and the apart from one single track on the shells, the chances of them having worn oval I think are virtually nil, and there was no up and down play on them when I felt them on the crank either. And we also know that the bushes in the small end eyes are good, because we tried them earlier with the pistons, the gudgeon pins. So I don't intend doing anything with the rods other than change the shells. Just thought I'd mention that. Right, I've drilled, I hope, deep enough to get rid of the section that's peened over. I don't want to go too far, because obviously you dig into the crank. So I'm just going to give an exploratory go using a flat, wide-bladed impact type bit with a small impact gun, and I don't imagine this will work, but we'll give it a go. Well, would you believe it? Because I'm not sure that I do. It's out. Excellent. You've no idea how overjoyed I am to see that come out. Right, let me just go and find the bit which flew off, and we shall move on from there. Right, I've recovered the bit that went flying across. There's your plug removed. The sludge trap itself is secured by this bolt, which is very tight, but before you came back, just to save embarrassment, I cracked it free, because I knew it was going to be really tight, and it's not quite as exciting as getting that out, so I thought I'd undo it slightly before you arrived. So that's you. Now, in theory, the sludge trap should come out. So I'm going to have to turn you off again for a minute whilst I try and devise a method of getting this out. So I'll be back in a second. I've tried unsuccessfully to get the plug out of the sludge trap. So now I'm going to try using a tap, which hopefully will sit in there. Let's try and give it a gentle bit of persuasion. Not sure that's going to work, but we'll give it a go. That should be the right size. Try again. Nope. That's strange. This should get a grip of it. Okay, let me bring it back when I've got this started. It should start easier than that normally. Right, it took a minute to get going. And I double checked against the new one to make sure I'd got the right size tap. But when I did eventually get a grip on it, it spun the tube and then I put some mole grips on it and pulled it out. So, it's now stuck to the tube, of course. There we are. Further evidence, if any were needed, that this is a very low mileage motor because there's virtually nothing in it. I will clean that out and then clean out the inside of the crank, which again, these are often almost completely blocked with sludge and it's just nothing but oil. So I'll clean all that up and show you what it looks like, but it is remarkably clean, which is good news. Right, back to you once I've cleaned it up. Right, the sludge trap has been thoroughly cleaned. There was very, very little in it at all. But I got right into it, made sure everything's okay. So the final job is to blow out in reverse direction to the oil flow. So the oil will come in through the sludge trap and out into the big end bearings. So I'm going to blow backwards through them. Just to make sure everything is completely clean. And then there's an oil gallery in here. Out through there. So everything seems clean. I'll just go one final go on these. And that's it. The crank disassembled. So next time we'll start rebuilding it. So we'll see you then. I'm just sliding the what I thought was a washer and a fatter washer off the crank. And I've actually noticed the Hardfat 3 stuck together with oil. So just a quick correction on that. They will be going back because nothing on the crank's being changed. And then that one. A slight burr on there, isn't there? Okay, that can stay for the minute. There's obviously a slight burr just there. But that's okay, I'm not bothered about that. So that doesn't need to come off anyway. So we shall put the 3 shims back on. So as not to lose them. Our bearing is in absolute perfect condition. No scuffs, no marks. And the race it runs in is also in perfect condition. So it is a very good crank.